And one thing that I'm feeling a lot doing this unilateral movement that I normally would not feel, and that is a lot of contraction in my abs and my core. Hey guys, Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I'm going to bring you a unilateral upper body workout. All right, now it's a fun change of pace, guys, and I think you're really going to like it. It's 5 different exercises, and there are some benefits to it that I'm going to get into in just a second. The only drawback to it is it's just more time consuming. So when we're doing one side at a time, by very definition, it's going to take twice as long to do the workout. So that's why I haven't incorporated unilateral workouts into my Fit After 50 program. But they can be really fun and good. And one of the nice things about them is if you have imbalances in your strength from one side to the other, doing it this way can help basically improve those imbalances. It's not going to just get rid of them overnight. It's going to take a long time, but still it's a good way to kind of help address that issue. And another thing is, guys, when we're doing just one side at a time, it forces your body into an unbalanced position, okay? And because of that, you're going to be forced to engage a lot of little stabilizer muscles that a lot of times you just normally wouldn't be using, okay? And so that helps basically just with our balance as we get older, because we're not moving around and jumping like we used to when we were young. And so our balance just gets worse because we just don't use our bodies like we used to. And this is going to force our bodies into some imbalanced or unbalanced positions, all right? Simple as that, all right? But the other thing is, guys, you can really get a great mind-muscle connection going when you're only doing one side of your body at a time, all right? That's another benefit to it, all right? So 5 different exercises. Stick around, and I'm going to explain how you can do this workout today 2 different ways. You can do it kind of the fat burning method in a circuit style, or you can do it kind of more of the muscle growth, muscle building method, all right, with the more conventional method where we just do one exercise at a time and rest in between every set. All right, well, before we get into the workout itself, let me just mention a free resource, and that is our Facebook group. Guys, even if you're not into social media, I don't care, just join. Click the link below this video, and that'll basically send you in the direction, and we actually have to admit you as a member, okay? Not everybody is actually allowed into the group. So anyway, take advantage of that. It's guys just like you. You know, I'm 60 years old. I'm the moderator. I'm in there answering questions every day. It's really a blast. I promise you won't regret it. And then on top of that, just do us a big favor. All right, I'm asking you, all right, to do us a favor, and that is hit the little, like, all right, hand below the video. It's not an arrow. So when you click on that, it tells YouTube that people like our videos, and they're more likely to share these videos with other people who are just randomly, perusing through YouTube. And then the other thing is, be sure and share it. All right, so I know you guys have friends that will benefit from a lot of these videos, and then subscribe to the channel. So all of those things, if you do those, it will really help us increase our exposure here on YouTube of our fitness channel. So big favor to me. Really appreciate it if you hit the like button and share and subscribe. All right, so guys, all the exercises today are going to be using dumbbells and nothing else, okay? 5 different exercises. And remember, if you are one of those guys whose primary goal is to burn fat, all right, and you'd be happy with building some muscle along the way, but burning fat's the most important thing, I want you to do these 5 exercises in circuit fashion, which means you do the first exercise, and then with very little rest or no rest if possible, go to the second one, do it, go to the third with very little rest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the end of all 5 exercises, that's one circuit. Now, okay, you're gonna be gasping for breath. Now is when you can stop and catch your breath for a minute or 2. And then you just repeat the circuit over again. So you would need to do at least 3 circuits this way, all right? Now for guys who are more interested in building muscle the most efficient way possible, I want you to just stick with each exercise and do 3 sets of each exercise, and of course rest about 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds after each set. And then after you finish the first exercise and you've done 3 sets with a rest in between, then you can move on to the second exercise. Do 3 sets of that with rest in between each set, and then move on to the third, etc. So that method is going to actually build your muscle a little bit more. Now you'll still be burning calories and you'll be burning fat, but not as much so as with the first technique where we're doing circuit style training. All right, so enough of the 2 different techniques. You guys get to decide which way to do it based on your goals. Simple as that. And for everybody, I want you to pick a weight that's difficult to do, but not, not impossible, for 8 to 12 reps with good form. That's the key, guys. All right, so first exercise, here we go. Enough kind of talking about all these other macro high-level things. First one is a single arm dumbbell bench press, all right? So guys, pick a weight, remember, that you can do with good form 8 to 12 times. Nice thing is you can use both hands to get it into place, okay? And then just take one hand off, and I can use my off hand to balance myself while I'm going through the motions. 2, 3. Now, one thing I want you guys to notice is my foot position. See how my feet are on the ground and they're kind of a nice wide base? Now, because I'm only doing one arm at a time, it's really trying to twist my torso, okay, off to this side, obviously, which means I'm having to engage a lot of my core, all right? Now, it's not something you have to really concentrate about. It's just naturally going to occur, but it's also going to put more weight on my right foot. The end of the set, come down here. All right, we're just going to go to the other side. Now, guys, if you're really out of breath after doing the first side, don't immediately go to the other side, because you're not going to have enough oxygen in your body to give the second side as much attention and effort and intensity as the first side. It won't work. So give yourself a few seconds to catch your breath if you're out of breath. A lot of guys, that won't gas you, okay? It won't be that hard. You can go almost immediately to your left side. Here we go. You can put your hand out or over here. And then down with 2 hands. And one thing that I'm feeling a lot doing this unilateral movement that I normally would not feel, and that is a lot of contraction in my abs and my core. And of course, that's a good thing. Okay, so that first exercise was targeting our chest. The second exercise is going to target our shoulders. Now, there's lots of different shoulder exercises that we could do, and we can do pretty much all of them unilateral. I'm just going to show you how to do basically my favorite shoulder exercise. And I'm also going to show it to you because I think it's probably the best exercise men can do for their shoulders that have shoulder problems. All right, so a lot of you guys won't be able to push a dumbbell up over your head. That's a great unilateral movement, an overhead press, but some of you guys can't do it. Maybe even a third of the guys have shoulder problems. So this is a great alternative, and this is what I probably focus on the most when I'm working out. So we're just going to do one arm at a time. It's a lateral raise, and I want you to keep your off arm to your side, because if you stick it out here, it's going to really help to offset the weight, okay, which won't make it as unilateral specific. It's almost like you got a second weight out here when you get your arm way out to the side. All right, so here we go. Just great. You only need to bring your hand up to about shoulder height. You don't need to go real high. And notice how my elbow is kind of bent. I don't have my elbow locked out straight here, okay? So you can keep it bent, and then make sure you don't bring the dumbbell like this. I want you to bring the dumbbell so that your palms are facing down, and the dumbbell is basically parallel to the floor. Oh, and so when you're doing this, guy, man, of course, I'm really feeling it in my delt, but I'm also feeling it all through my core here, guys. It's really an effective exercise to do just one side at a time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew, I'm already feeling a pump. All right, so exercise number 2, shoulders. Remember, guys, if you're doing it circuit fashion, I want you to go on to the third exercise as soon as you can with very little rest. If you're doing basically the muscle building approach, you're just gonna do one set of that, all right? Give yourself a minute rest, and then start back over with that right side and then the left side. So stick with exercise number 2 if you're doing it the muscle building way. Do it circuit style if you're trying to focus on burning fat. Okay, exercise number 3, we're gonna focus on our biceps. So we've done our chest and our shoulders, time to work on our arms now, at least the bicep part of it. So a lot of my exercises in Fit After 50 concerning biceps are concentration curls, all right? And that's a one-arm exercise when you're doing concentration curls, but you're sitting down, okay? And you're bracing yourself. And so you don't really put yourself in an imbalanced position when you're doing that. However, you are focused, you're concentrating, okay, on one arm. But that's not how I want you to do these one-arm curls today. I want you to do them standing up, okay? Because when we do them standing up, it's gonna force you into kind of an awkward situation here where the weight is on one side and it's forcing you to engage your core, your obliques, okay? So we're just gonna do one at a time. Remember, 8 to 12 reps. But pick a weight, that's difficult to get to. So it's okay to slightly bend over, okay, like this, because that keeps the flanges of the dumbbells slightly away from your thigh at the bottom of the movement here. And see how I'm twisting? When I get now near the thigh, I twist my hands so that I go into a neutral position. And as soon as the flange passes my thigh, I twist my hands when I come up and then reverse. Now, the only reason I'm doing that, guys, is because you engage more muscle fibers in your bicep when you're rotating your wrist like that, okay? There's lots of different ways to do these bicep curls. They're all really good. But if you're just gonna do one for the day, if we're only gonna do one bicep exercise, and that's all we're doing today, this is a really good way to do it. All right, hand at your side and then twist as you come up, twist as you go down. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10, all right. Ooh, now biceps, because they're a small muscle group, you shouldn't get really winded, all right, after you do the first side. So typically you'll be able to go straight to the other side without taking, 30 seconds rest. Now, remember when we were doing those chest presses, you're using a much heavier weight. You're using more different muscles in your body and of course, bigger muscles. Some of you guys are gonna get out of breath. You might need 30 seconds to catch your breath before you go to the other side. Okay, so the fourth exercise, sticking with arms, we're gonna be focusing on our triceps now. I actually use this exercise in my Fit After 50 program, and we do it both one-armed, unilateral, like I'm gonna show you today, and we can do it two-arm. The only difference is this helps you really focus that mind-muscle connection. And typically when you're doing it with just one hand, you can use a slightly heavier weight, believe it or not, simply because of that concentration you can get just on one arm at a time. So anytime I'm doing skull crushers with dumbbells as opposed to a barbell, I typically like to do them one arm at a time. So here we go. Use your offhand to stabilize your elbow. It just helps with the form. And then guys, at the top of the movement, see how my arm is not straight up and down? It's tilted slightly back towards my head. That means there's some tension on my tricep. If at the top of the movement you come up here, all right, where my arm is straight up and down, the weight is being transferred straight through my elbow joint and my shoulder joint, and my triceps are not flexed very hard. There's not a lot of tension on your triceps. But if this is the top of your movement, then I still feel some tension in your triceps. And just experiment it yourselves. Just kind of do it this way and just hold it, and then move the dumbbell up here, and you're gonna automatically feel the tension, all right? So hence, I like to come all the way down to my side of my ear, basically. That flange, the bottom of the flange comes down and pretty much touches my shoulder at the bottom of the movement, all right? And at the top, boom, I try to lock it out. My arm is almost perfectly straight at the top, but it's not straight up and down. It's leaning backwards. Once again, this is a pretty small muscle group, so you don't need a lot of rest when you're going from side to side, simply because you shouldn't be out of breath. And that's 8, 9, 10. Straight down, boom. Simple as that. 4 down, 1 to go. Okay, so the fifth and final exercise for today is a bent over dumbbell row. So we're just gonna be doing one arm at a time, just like everything else. In this exercise, you can use a lot of weight, guys, because we're engaging lots of muscles, because our back is made up of 17 different muscle groups. You're also engaging your bicep a little bit, and it's just a lot of muscles, and they're just naturally strong, all right? So you can do some pretty darn heavy weight. So you guys that max out at, say, 20 or 25 pound dumbbells, you're gonna find this is just really easy. So you guys really need to suck it up, basically, and get out there and buy some heavier dumbbells, okay? Especially some of you bigger guys. I guarantee you, when I'm at the gym doing this exercise, I'm using 80, 90 pound dumbbells, okay? So, a lot of you guys watching this should be able to use 40, 50 pound, no problem, all right? So here we go. I'm gonna brace my offside on the bench here. If you don't have a bench, that's okay. You can use your knee, all right? Just about the same thing, all right? So the key, guys, is when you're rowing, is to bring your elbow back towards your hip. And let the weight go all the way down, so you get a good stretch, and then try to bring that dumbbell all the way up towards your hip. So basically, as you're bringing the dumbbell up, it's coming back slightly. And then naturally, it's gonna wanna go forward because it's gonna hang directly under my shoulder, and then when you bring it up, it's gonna come back. So focus on bringing your elbow back towards your hip, and the dumbbell will just come along for the ride. And then when you're done, guys, you might be slightly out of breath, because like with the chest presses, we're using big muscles and a heavy weight. So you might need to catch your breath for 20 or 30 seconds before you do the other side, because otherwise, if you just go straight to the other side, you're gonna be so gassed that you might not be able to get as many reps, okay? Even for you guys doing the circuit style, all right? If you're really gassed when you're going from one side to the other, okay, take a short break, okay? Now, when you're going from one exercise to the next, when you're doing circuit style, try to keep your rest minimal or none at all, because just transferring from one exercise to the next is just natural rest, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna do the other side now. And you can put your knee up on the bench if you want. The last time I kept it down on the ground, and then 2, 3, 10. Whew. How about that? 5 exercises, unilateral. Yes, it takes basically twice as long as doing both sides at the same time, but there are some advantages to it that I spoke about at the very beginning of the video, and it's just fun to mix things up. So guys, I don't care whether you did it the circuit style or the muscle building style. Either one is fine. It's up to you and what your goals are, but the main thing is, guys, you have to stick with it and never give up on yourself.